Okay, I will talk about the meaning of refuge, the internal meaning of it, and then the external ceremonial part of it. So there's some information there on the website about refuge, and I'm sure you've read it. It varies from one school to another, in Buddhism, one school to another, and lineage, between lineages, what are the recommendations of or requirements of receiving a refuge. And usually it's pretty, it's kind of like anybody can take it at any point. But I don't have that view, because you do need to know what you're taking refuge of. And you cannot know that without practice, without first-hand experience. So I think it's essential for refugees to understand, have some experience what those three basic, objects of refuge, Buddha, Dharma and Sangha are, as well as in Pemako's case also the two additional ones, Guru Rinpoche Guru and his pure land, which is Pemako. So this is, these requirements are mentioned there on the website, and it's if you do have some experience, you've done the practice for a while and you have gotten some benefits, fruit from it, it has bear some fruit, then it's a lot more meaningful to take refuge. On the other hand, if you just walked in the door and you take refuge without knowing, without having any experience, it doesn't mean much, does it? So this is the view I have about refuge, and hence the requirements. So Pemako Buddhism, Pemako Dharma is a method founded by Guru Rinpoche, also supported by Yeshe Tsogyal. Yeshe Tsogyal and Guru Rinpoche are still a couple, happily married after over 1,000 years, and you could say. And then there's also a large group of other Mahasiddhas, other fully enlightened masters, who, both Buddhist and otherwise, who have expressed their wish to be involved and have expressed their support for what we are doing here. So even though there's a word Buddhist there, I think that I feel that, and I feel kind of a Buddhist myself, because it's Buddha Dharma that has given me benefits, and we are using the context of Buddha Dharma and terms and philosophy of Buddha Dharma to progress. But nevertheless, awakening experiences and enlightenment is universal phenomena. It's not tied to Buddhism. It just happens to be the case that we follow a Buddhist methodology. How do you pronounce that? Forget it. Buddhist method to have those benefits and fruits, to have those awakenings and enlightenments. So yeah, there's Guru Rinpoche, there's Yeshe Tsogyal and the so-called Mahasiddha family behind what we're doing here. And on many retreats, we do have tantric guru yoga sessions with not only our main gurus, but a variety of other gurus. So last winter retreat was a kind of a wild example of that, because we had just one Mahasiddha after the other showing up and wanting to pour that monsoon-like, really heavy, powerful blessings on us. That was really a special retreat we had last December, January. But this, this happens. Whenever there's an opportunity, the Mahasiddhas really want to use it. So that's what it is like when working directly with Mahasiddhas. So this is a Vajrayana method, tantric method. Vajrayana, Mantrayana, Tantrayana. These terms means the same thing. And not more or less, our goal is to attain Buddhahood in this body, in this life. Not in the next, or not during the next 10 lives, or whatever. This life, this body. And as a teacher, as a, Guru Rinpoche is also my guru. Without him, I couldn't have done anything really. There is a significant part of what I've done as a teacher, as a worldly founder of this lineage, but it's really Guru Rinpoche who is really the engine, the heart of it all. Because if he hasn't, you need a Mahasiddha like him to start a tantric lineage. It's he who has breathed life into all those deities that myself in turn, as a teacher, I pass through empowerments. So it's because of his initiative why all this is possible for every one of us, myself included. So my role as a teacher has been to, I've studied many kinds of yogas, types of yogas, and have learned different techniques, different presentations of the inner principles from different sources. And I've used this experience in formulating our practices. Rainbow body yoga techniques. I've used some of that knowledge in there, put it in there together with Guru Rinpoche's empowerment and some techniques in rainbow body yoga and in other practices I've received, like the techniques, the technical parts I've received directly from him or other Mahasiddhas. So it's like was it yesterday that I was speaking about Babaji, and so the full dialogue with him over 10 years ago went that, at that time I had learned all those things, but I kind of didn't know what to do with it. And he said that, look, there is no this or that yoga, there is that which is according to the great tradition of yoga, and that which is outside of it, and hence useless. And he continued saying that it's your job to collect those bits and pieces of wisdom practices, spread around different traditions and lineages in the world, and put it all back together in like a compact set of teachings that will be of benefit for people. And that's what I've done the last many years. So yeah, we want to not only have a bite or have a taste of awakening, but to go full way. And not only realize emptiness body, but also rainbow body. There has been, still in present day Tibet, every year or so there is somebody attaining small rainbow body. And an external indication of that is that when somebody who has attained it, small rainbow body, like half of the rainbow body attainment during her or his physical life, then when the passes away, the physical body shrinks to become a size of a baby. So that's what happens with small rainbow body. So what we're doing here, what we're doing with Pemako is that not only that there is this, how to say, re-updating or refreshing Vajrayana practice and establishing a method that is suitable for modern city people to practice, there is also pragmatization, kind of returning back to those pragmatic roots of Dharma. And just a few days ago, just last week, I was reading this book that I had never read before, The Supreme Source. The Tibetan title of the book is Kunjet Gyalpo. Kunjet Gyalpo. It's same as Kunzang Gyalpo. And it's by Namkhai Norbu, translated by Namkhai Norbu and Adriano Clemente. So from this book, I had never seen it before. I had never seen such accounts from traditional sources before, but right in the beginning of this book that has been around for almost 2000 years, used and studied within the Dzogchen lineage in Tibet and other areas there in Asia, there are accounts of, the first human teacher who taught Ati Yoga, Dzogchen, on earth during our time was this man called Garab Dorje. Garab Dorje is the Tibetan name of him, but it's likely that because he didn't live in Tibet, he lived actually what is probably the northern Pakistan. So his name probably was Prahe Vajra, but he was nevertheless the first human being to teach Dzogchen in our time, and there are these accounts by Garab Dorje's direct students of his who say that I practiced this teaching and I attained Buddhahood. You might have read the blog text that I published. I was kind of stunned to read that because I had never seen it before, and having done pragmatic Dharma for over 10 years now, openly discussing about my own attainments and then the stages and attainments of our Sangha members in the internet, and then I found these short accounts that say that right from the beginning of the Dzogchen tradition, they actually made the same public statements. I did the practice and I got the fruit. And during this retreat I've discussed some of those problems and difficulties in Dharma today, and to me it was really fantastic to see that they didn't have problem in talking about their attainments and stating the facts. So just for complete transparency, not being shy about it, not hush about these things, but all wide open for the sake of everybody. So I feel that what we're doing here with Pemako is exactly like that. Not only bringing out a method that suits the needs and suits the limitations set by various kinds of responsibilities people have, not only that giving a method that works, that delivers, but also that kind of re-pragmatization of Dharma. This is what we're doing here. And so you are taking refuge this evening. How many is it again? Put your hand up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. So the number has increased during the retreat. I guess I'm not such a bad salesman after all. So, what is the meaning of refuge? Well, first of all, we can look at the objects of refuge from a relative point of view. Guru Rinpoche. His Pure Land, Pemako, in traditional Tibetan Zangdok Palri, Guru Rinpoche's Pure Land, that exists in subtle realms. Some of you might have seen a glimpse of it or visited there in meditation. It's possible. You can also ask Guru Rinpoche, "Dear Lama, dear Guru Rinpoche, can you help me to see a glimpse of it? I would really like to see your Pure Land." So if you say a prayer like that, it's possible that it can happen. And then Buddha, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha are the three basic objects of refuge. And what it means is that, Buddha can be seen in different ways. But really we are taking refuge in the Buddha within. But you can also, in the beginning of practice, you can, if it feels kind of somehow, it doesn't feel natural to think about one's own, the Buddha within, because if you're not familiar enough with it, then you can think of Shakyamuni Buddha or any other Buddhas. Then there is Dharma, taking refuge in Dharma, which is the teaching of reality. Plain and simple. And then there is Sangha, which can be seen in different ways. You can see it as the whole community of Buddhas and Mahasiddhas, and or the community of practitioners, the community, the Sangha that is close to you, as well as the whole Mahasangha of all sentient beings. Maha means great Sangha of all sentient beings. So these are the objects of refuge. Taking refuge means that we trust these objects of refuge. We know that they are safe. We know that it is safe to get on board on those 5 refuges. And like I said, in order to know this, we need some first-hand experience. We need to, just like when making new friends, we have to spend time with that new person. And that way, trust is built and you start feeling safe with that person. Exactly the same here. And I'm happy to see that there are 9 people who feel that way. So what does it mean? Well, most of all, it's internal. It's very personal. It's being yourself. It's between you and the object of refuge. You and Guru Rinpoche. Also you and me in to significant extent, because I'm the teacher, I'm the head teacher, so also connection to me and myself to you is very important. But yes, it is like an internal, meaningful moment, and when you take the Bodhisattva vows, these are vows. You vow something. That is a very serious thing, isn't it? So it's not like, yeah, sure, I can take a vow. No, not like that. At least I could never take, when you speak of vows or oaths, oh, it's serious thing. You can't take vows lightly. So here you are taking Bodhisattva vows, and you've read the prayer many times, and you've felt the energy of it many times. And that's why you feel comfortable about taking those vows. You feel that this is, like I often teach, that this is what the Buddha within is and wants to express. So to me personally, I remember when I took Bodhisattva vows myself, I was a Zen practitioner those days. And I remember when I started practicing meditation when I was 23 years old. Yes, 23. And there was a sitting session in the group. And at the end of the sitting session, we had papers where all the prayers and also Bodhisattva vows were printed, and we chanted them together. And when I saw that word vow there, I kept my mouth shut for 1 or 2 months because I didn't want to take a vow that I wasn't ready for. But then I started chanting it with others, because then after some time it made total sense to me. And then again, sometime later, I took part in this Refuge ceremony, like you are now, where I took those vows formally. And taking formal vows, we don't have that many vows in Pemako for a good reason. I want to keep it simple, and those vows that are there are really the essential ones. So what it does is that when you do take vows into your heart, it's like a highway or a motorway to Buddhahood opens up for you, right in front of you. And as long as you stay with the vow, at first you kind of keep it with you, but then you realize that this vow becomes you. Then you realize that this vow is what the Buddha within is. You become that vow, those vows. So all the Mahayana masters and Vajrayana masters, they weren't kidding when they said that this is something very important. And also, there is the point that Mahayana and Vajrayana Buddhism is for practitioners to attain Buddhahood, to reach full and complete perfect enlightenment. So bodhicitta and bodhisattva vows are also means to make that happen, because when we do that practice, it opens up the subtle body, opens up those shadowy corners, shadowy places in our psyche that we wouldn't be able to see or perceive without the vows, without the cultivation of bodhicitta. So when you use it, then you can access and reach your awareness to those revealed places in your psyche. And that's how you attain Buddhahood. So during this ceremony, it will take perhaps half an hour, 40 minutes or so, and then some meditation afterwards. What will happen is that uh, we will do the same Bodhisattva vows and then the basic prayers all in the same order, but just more of them. So for example, usually we chant the Bodhisattva vows, which is 4 lines. We chant the 4 lines 3 times. But now we do 3 times 3. So 3 times the complete vows. So it's 3 times more. And then we do the same with both refuge prayers, both bodhicitta prayers. And then finally we chant dedication of merit once. Yes, Sean. Are you the 10th? Oh, heck. I'm a marvelous salesman, I see. Maybe even better salesman than you, Sean. He sent me a message that would it be beneficial to take Refuge again. He has taken it before, and I said yes. So we will do quite a bit of chanting, and those of you who have already taken the Refuge or who haven't yet taken it, nor are taking it now yet, keep chanting with Ugi. Ugi is the chant leader here, so you will hear his voice mostly, and Yannick's and Sylvia's and Pat's voice. So keep chanting with Ugi. But those who are taking Refuge, here's what you should do. So Bodhisattva vows we all do together. And then when we get to relative refuge, first we will go through it one or two times. And then you need the plate and scissors. So after we have chanted relative refuge for some time, you take the scissors, you take a small bit of your hair, cut a small piece of your hair and put it on the plate. Then you can put the scissors down. When you do that, after that, you're sitting in front of Guru Rinpoche's picture or his statue, or if you don't have either one, you can imagine that you're sitting in front of him. And then you pray. You say a prayer, in whatever words you want. You express your sincerity, you express your motivation. You present yourself to him as others keep chanting. So during this taking of hair and internal prayer, you don't have to chant. Just do that. Prayer and cut a bit of hair. After you have spent like that for perhaps a couple of minutes, 1-2 minutes, something like this, then you can start chanting again with all others. That's everything you need to do. Understand? I can, because it's surprising how confused people can get about this, when chanting. So when we have chanted the relative refuge 1 or 2 times, I will show you this. So in case you're sure, if you see me do this, you can cut the hair and express the prayer. So there will be a little bit more than usual chanting, and we will spend a little bit more than usual also in between the moments of silence, just absorbing the blessings. But that's what we will do next. Okay, yes. Go get. Quickly, please. Sean went to get flowers and scissors. Now he's running outside to the flower stand a mile away. So let's give him a moment.